Hey guys, and welcome back to another reading vlog. Today is the 16th of December, and maybe you've seen that I did an kind of advent calendar slash vlogmas on my cooking channel, and I had to clear out my SD card a little bit, and by doing that I deleted the first week of my reading vlog, which is great. I was very proud of myself for doing that. So I wanted to quickly tell you all about that first week, which I have deleted. So this would be a coherent vlog. So yeah, let's do this. First of all, my reading in December is not going well. So during that first week, it's not like anything happened there. But moving from November into December, I had two books that I was currently reading. One was The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, which I would show you right now, but my cat just decided to lie on it. There you go. That's The Goldfinch with the cat. Yeah, so massive book, and I was reading that. And I was also listening to an audiobook called The Christmas Party by Karen Swan, and I had about 6 hours or something like that to finish. No, that's not true. About 3.5 hours, something like that. But yeah, that was what I had left over from November. So on the 3rd of December, I actually finished that audiobook off. I wanted to finish it earlier, but on the 1st, my car broke, which was a very stressful experience because it broke in the middle of my way home and I had to go about 150 kilometers in my broken car, which, yeah, that kind of distracted me for a while, and I was very busy trying to figure out whether it could be fixed, which it couldn't, and how I would live without that car now, because obviously for Christmas I needed a car, but it's all figured out now, so let's move on from that. On the 3rd of December, I finished The Christmas Party, which was a really fun audiobook, and I did really enjoy it. I will talk about it more in the wrap-up part right at the end of this video, but I wanted to mention that I finished it in that first week. And then on the weekend of that first week, I actually found out that the Magical Readathon was hosting a Christmas special, and I decided to join in even though I was kind of late, and so I think I have to update you on that as well. So the website looks like that, and you have the different chapters. So I did chapter 1 in that first week, and I can show you maybe. So if you click on the first chapter, I have to click on this, and then you get little questions that you answer. So Dobby's at your house, what are you doing? And I decided not to lie to Dobby, and so he obviously got me into big trouble, and I had to run away with Hedwig. And then in the burrow, I decided to talk to Mr. Weasley and tell him all about the Muggle world. And so this first prompt that I got was to read a contemporary book. Now obviously that first book I just mentioned would totally count, so The Christmas Party, but since I did not read that completely in December, and yeah, it would be kind of cheaty, I decided to use The Goldfinch rather, but I still haven't finished that. And I think I'm right now a little bit farther into it, but I tell you about my progress in the next part that I did not delete, so I will keep it at that. I wanted to do that for the first prompt. And I think with the second week, I will also tell you in that clip I did not delete. So that's it for this first part, and now we get into the real vlogging experience. Hey guys, it's the 8th of December and it's time for a reading update. First of all, I wanted to mention that I made it to page 500 in The Goldfinch. Still have a ton of this to go. I calculated that I still need about 7 hours to finish this book, which that's time I won't have this week, so we'll see how that goes. But I will keep reading it. I really want to finish this before the year's over. Then I also added another book to my TBR, something I want to finish before Christmas this year, because that's actually the time I gave myself, because I started reading this in 2017. This is My True Love Gave to Me, a story collection with Christmassy stories. And yeah, I just read the third story, which is where I left off last year. and I really liked it. So this is something I'll be working on as well. It's a little bit of a quicker read, and it will give me a bit more satisfaction because, you know, making my way through the Goldfinch just feels very, very slow and like I'm not achieving anything. So this will help me with that. And then I'm also halfway through The Afterlife of Holly Chase, which I'm re-listening to on audio, and I really love that book. So I will definitely finish that within the next couple of days as well, and then I'm ready to listen to a new Christmassy audiobook, and I already have a pretty good idea what I want to listen to next, but I'll keep that a secret for now. And then I just did the second chapter of this magical readathon thingy, and I got the option to read an urban fantasy. And since the explanation is a fantasy world that exists in secret from the Muggle world, I will count The Afterlife of Holly Chase. Because that book is actually about a kind of ghost world that exists next to the human world, and our main character actually is kind of a ghost right now, and she looks human, but she is dead. So yeah, she refers to herself more like a zombie, but officially she's called a ghost. So I think that fits that prompt. So I'm very happy because right now this readathon really fits the books that I'm reading anyway. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to participate, to be honest. So yeah, that's good news for me.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Hey there guys, today is the 13th of December. I haven't updated you in a while because I have literally not read anything physically this week, but I just finished my rereading of The Afterlife of Holly Chase, which is a book I've read 2 years ago and I really loved it. And again, I really loved it. It's a retelling of the Christmas story, or Christmas Carol it's called, by Charles Dickens. And it's just one of my favorite Christmas stories, so I obviously also love the retelling. And yeah, it was just so fun to revisit this world. And it also helped me achieve one of the challenges of the magical readathon, because it was my second challenge was to read a book that is it's the exact words were something like, it is set in a kind of fantasy world that is hidden but exists beside the real world, something like that. So like an urban fantasy, but the definition fit this book really well. So I also did my first challenge for that. And yeah, my week was crazy. I am in the process of buying a new car, or leasing a new car, actually. So I had to do a lot of stuff for that, but also work was crazy. I did like so many more hours than I usually do in a week, so that was definitely crazy. It's now 5 in the afternoon on a Friday, so we're starting into the weekend, and even though I have still a ton of work to do for this week, I just decided I'm gonna go into the bathtub, take a nice long bath, and I will take the Goldfinch with me. Still have 300 pages to go in that one, but I'm very positive that I will be able to finish that this year. I must. Also, you just saw me pick out a new audiobook, 10 First Dates, I think it's called. So I will listen to that next week, and I hope I can finish it before Christmas, because I actually want to listen to another book over the holidays and going into the new year. So yeah, that's all I can update you on right now. I hope your Christmas time or like December is not this stressful, but it obviously for most people is. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm just so glad that I have survived this week somehow. So yeah, talk to you soon. So today is the 16th of December. We just started the third week of the Magical Readathon, and I wanted to update you because I can't really update you on my reading, which is not happening right now. So I told you about my prompt for the second week, which was to read a urban fantasy, and I finished The Afterlife of Folly Chase for that, which was a reread from me. And today I wanted to start the third chapter when I realized that I wasn't even done with chapter 2. So let's do that right now. So I completed that challenge and it actually moved on to another part. So we're in the train and we have the decision to make to play wizard chess or talk to Hermione. And since I'm a huge fan of Hermione, we're gonna do that. And Hermione is telling us all about a book club, and I think I'm gonna have her sign me up. And so the challenge is to read a book club pick. Now I don't really have a book club that I'm following, so I will have to research if any of the books I'm reading right now count. But yeah, I still need that to complete my second week, which is kind of unfortunate. I still gonna pretend that I did that and move on to chapter 3 to see what the prompt is for that. So I just found this blog post about a book club that read 10 Blind Dates in November, and since I'm listening to that on audio right now, I'm gonna count this for my next read. Okay, so I just did chapter 3 to get my first prompt, and I chose to have dessert for breakfast because I'm me. So I had done the herbology lesson, and I don't even know what I had to decide there. But then finally, we had some options what to do because we have one evening to spend. And I decided to go to Nick's birthday party because I pity him and I want him to have a nice birthday. So my prompt is to read a paranormal book or a book that has ghosts. And I have to check back with my TBR, but ghosts? I'm not quite sure about that. So I guess this is a book with ghosts because it has creepy Christmas and winter stories and it's a very tiny book. So I hope there's ghosts in there and I'll put it on my TBR. Hey guys, it is the 20th of December right now and I wanted to do a quick update. Yesterday we went to Erfurt, which is a bigger city that is relatively close, and we went to the Christmas market there, and on the train I read quite a bit of My True Love Gave to Me. I'm now almost finished with the 8th story. I will actually finish that in a minute when I go to bed, and so I have about 4 stories left. I have to say my favorite so far is the one by David Levithan. It had such good humor, especially at the beginning, like definitely my kind of almost dead humor, but I really liked it. I don't know how to do this that you can see the tree. But yeah, I really enjoy all the stories so far. So yeah, I hope I can finish it this weekend so I'm done with it by Christmas. And another book I want to finish this weekend is my audiobook, 10 Blind Dates, which I'm also really enjoying. It's a really fun read, but it deals with some tough topics as well, especially with like pregnancy and problems during pregnancy, because the bigger sister of the main character is actually pregnant at the beginning of the book, and there's some turbulences with that, and she's actually forced to have the baby quite early and stuff like that. So if you're sensitive to this topic, I wouldn't recommend the book, but otherwise I think it's really fun and I do enjoy it. And yeah, so I just wanted to update you. I have about 1.5 hours of my audiobook left, and yeah, as I said, 4 stories in this book. And I'll talk to you soon again, I hope, if I read anything. So it's the 23rd of December, and yesterday I finished My True Love Gave to Me, which is a nice collection of Christmassy stories. I had read a couple of books of some of the authors, but not all of them. Some I've never heard before, so yeah. I really had a good time with this. I don't know why it took me so many years to finally read this, but it's done now and I'm happy. I think overall I give it a 4-star. There was one story I liked almost like a 5-star, and the last 2 stories I think were quite boring to be honest, and I didn't really like the last 2 stories so much. But you know, not liking 2 in 12 stories I think is totally fine, and yeah, so that's checked off my list now. So I'm gonna go into the city now and I will get my rental car for the holidays, I hope. I'm a bit nervous to be honest because I've never rented a car before, and yeah, so I hope everything works out. And while I do that, I will finish my audiobook 10 Blind Dates, and I will probably catch up with you after that as well, so I can check that off my list as well. So far, I'm so much more successful than I thought it would be. I think that would be my 4th book I finished this month, which is great. So I'll talk a little bit more about all this later. So I'm getting ready to leave. I just got the car that I will be using for a couple of days now, and I'm super excited. It's a really nice one. I hope that everything goes well with it. But I quickly wanted to show you which books I'm gonna bring for Christmas for my family time. The first one is a German classic. This is what the ballet about the Nutcracker is inspired by. It's called Nussknacker und Mäusekönig by E.T.A. Hoffmann. And I've been meaning to read this for so many years now, and I finally got it this year. So I'll definitely bring this. And I also have this tiny book right here, which is Creepy Christmas and Winter Stories, also a German book. So this really tiny as well. And this one I already mentioned because it fits one of the challenges of the Magical Readathon, which is a book with ghosts in it, because I hope that there is at least one ghost in this story, or in this stories. And then this one also fits a challenge because I just did the next chapter yesterday. And one challenge I got is to read a book that is under 125 pages, and this is even under 100 pages, so it totally counts. So I'm using that. And then the other challenge I have to do is to read a favorite book of a person you like a friend's favorite or something like that. So I haven't really figured it out yet. I thought about reading Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys because I feel like every single person who read this liked it. So probably some of my favorite YouTubers are in there as well. Because I really want to work on my TBR. I don't want to go around borrowing books from other people right now. So yeah, that's the plan for now. But these 2 books are going in my suitcase now, so I can head out to see my family. And I will probably check back in with you as soon as I get back in 2 days, so I'm not gone for a very long time. And I also wanted to show you the audiobook that I got for the drive. So this is the book I'm interested in because it takes place between Christmas and New Year's Eve, and it's a kind of thriller crime novel. We'll see. It's about a couple of friends who go up to some place that is quite far away from other people, and then one ends up dead, I think. So I'm gonna get that right now so I can listen to it while I'm driving. I did not finish the 10 Blind Dates audiobook yet. I have 20 minutes left, but I will listen to that before I leave so I don't have to switch audiobooks while I'm driving. And yeah, I'll probably tell you all about that at a later point in time. Maybe I'll do it in 5 minutes. We'll see. Whatever. I'm a bit all over the place because I don't want to forget important things. So yeah, sorry for that.
Audible hopes you have enjoyed this program.
So I did manage to finish 10 Blind Dates while I packed and stuff. And it's a really cute book, but my cat is evil. She obviously gets that I'm leaving, and she's super annoyed with that, obviously. So she's starting to do all kinds of mischievous stuff. So yeah. But as I said, I won't be gone for long, so I have someone take care of her and she will be fine. She just really doesn't like it. So 10 Blind Dates is a really cute book. I really liked it. Yeah, just a cute storyline. I think I've said that before, but yeah, I'll talk about more in the wrap-up part of this video. But I'm very glad that I listened to it, and it really got me in a funny Christmassy mood. So I'm really interested to see what the other audiobook does for me now, because, you know, it's more of a thriller crime novel. So it will definitely change my mood, but I'm gonna head out now, and I will talk to you as soon as I get back. Hey guys, it's the 26th of December. I got back home and I'm very glad I'm home. I'm super tired, like the holidays definitely took everything out of me, but I wanted to give you a quick reading update. So during my holiday time at my family's, I started this book about the Nutcracker. This is a German classic, and I got halfway through it during the holidays, and today I just finished it. I think this is a cute little book. I really do love the story. You probably know the ballet. I had never read the original before, and I really wanted to because I do like the story a lot. I think that this one is a very much... It is different than what you might know from pop culture, but the main character is Marie, and she has this fever dream about the mice and her nutcracker having a huge war, and yeah, basically that's the setup of the story. She wants to help her nutcracker, and she wants to fight the mice, and yeah, it's much more of a children's story than you might think, so there's no romance, or maybe there is a little bit of romance, but like, you know, it's very innocent, like a fairy tale, and I did enjoy this, but I didn't love it. I think there's other works by this author, E.T.A. Hoffmann, which I definitely enjoyed more, but it was a fun read, and it was very quick, and the book is tiny. So yeah, I finished that. Sorry, that was a little bit long-winded. And I also managed to listen to half of my audiobook, The Hunting Party. So I have about 5 hours left now, and I am enjoying it, but it's not blowing me off my feet right now. It is all about a group of friends who are snowed in, and one of those is dead. I think I know now who is dead. You don't really know from the beginning, and it switches between now and then, and basically you get what happened right before New Year's Eve, and then you get in the now part after New Year's. I think it's the 2nd of January, when the groundkeepers find the body. And so it switches between those two things, but they also tell you a lot about the history of this group of friends and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not quite sure when I will finish that, but I will keep you posted. I know I haven't talked about the Goldfinch in a while, but right now I'm heading into the bathtub, and I'm gonna bring the Goldfinch, and I still have 300 pages of this to go, and it's my definite goal to finish this book before the year is over. So let's hope that I can do that. So this is the Christmas gift I made to myself. Really excited about this. Okay, so we got The Winner of the Witch. I think this is the third book. Then we have The Bear and the Nightingale. This is the first book. I got the Wonder Myth, which is the second book in the Morgan Crow series. And I got myself The Girl in the Tower, which is the second book. So I got this whole trilogy to read in January. I'm so excited about this. It's the 30th of December, and I have 2 days left to finish this book. I'm really fighting hard, I promise. Like yesterday, I feel like I've read the whole day, and I managed to read 60 pages. I still have about 115 pages left, so it doesn't really seem that much, but if I count how slow I am with this book, this is still gonna take me forever. I will finish this before the year is over. I have to keep telling myself. And it's not that I don't like this book, but I also don't love this book, and I don't know how she did it that I can only read about 50 pages in 2 hours. I don't know how that works. This is the slowest book I've ever read, and I have read a couple of chunkers this year, especially It by Stephen King, which is 1,200 pages, and still this did not take me as long as this book. So yeah, I am definitely over it, and I just want it to be done. On a more positive note though, yesterday the last challenges for the Magical Readathon Christmas edition came on, and or it's a winter edition rather, And I have 3 more challenges, so I have still 2 to do because of this book. But yeah, I got 3 more challenges added on to that. One was to read a book from the highest shelf. I already know which one this would be. Then the next challenge was to read a book that came to your mind in that moment, which I will do when I caught up to that challenge. And then I think the last challenge I had to do was to read a book that had fewer pages than the book I read before that. So I do have a couple of ideas which book I want to read for the last 5 challenges that I have to do for this. But yeah, right now I'm not gonna spoil it. My perfect outcome would be if I can finish all of these books, all of these challenges before I am done with my holidays. So I still have 1 week off now, and my partner will be gone on Wednesday or Thursday. So I should have like maybe 4 days for reading. Not really, but yeah, we'll see. This all not going according to plan, to be honest, because I mean, I wanted to have the Goldfinch finished at the end of November, and I'm still fighting my way through it. So yeah, it wasn't the kind of reading end of the year that I wanted to have. I wanted to get to so many books and just read a ton so I can polish off my yearly count, but that's not gonna happen. And yeah, I've reached my goal of 52 books a while ago. I think I'm almost at 80. It's like 76, I think. So yeah, if I read 77 books this year, it's still good. But yeah, just being stuck with a book for such a long time doesn't feel that great, especially if I don't love this book. And I know many people would have DNF'd it a long time ago. But I can't, I just can't. Now I spend so much time with this book, I just want to know what the fucking ending is. So yeah, sucks to be me. So it's the 31st of December, the last day of this vlog. It's around noon and I just finished The Goldfinch. I'm so happy I finally got this read, and I just wanted to share this moment. I think I will give it about 3.5 stars. I think for the story it's telling, it's just way too long, and I still don't really know what the message was, but I will think about it a little bit more and tell you all about that in my wrap-up part at the end. But for now, I'm just so glad I did it and finished this year. Now I think the only other book I will read this year and finish it is this collection of stories. This is like, it's not really horror, but like creepy stories for the winter time and Christmas. It's very thin, so I will definitely finish that today because it's also on my magical readathon TBR for a book that has ghosts in it, because I really hope there's ghosts in this. And yeah, I think that's the last book I will finish this year, but maybe if I'm lucky I can start another one, and so you'll have a little sneak peek of what will come in my January reading vlog. So I just got out of the bathtub and I finished this book of Christmassy and wintry ghost stories, and I really enjoyed it. Most of the stories were very good. And I'm actually surprised because yeah, I don't really remember who recommended this, so I wasn't quite sure how to feel about this book when I picked it up, but honestly, quite good stories. I'm still not quite sure whether the author really wrote them or whether they are retellings or whether she just collected them. It's a little bit unclear to me because some things are quite specific and I'm pretty sure there is a story about that, but yeah, I'm just not sure. So if you know, let me know. But a great book to have for like cozy wintry reading. And I think that is the last book I finished this year, but I wanted to show you what I pick up now because I still have a little bit of time before dinner is ready, and then we'll probably do a marathon watch of a series of unfortunate events because I never watched the last season, so we're watching it all over again. And yeah, that's my New Year's Eve. I'm very exciting, I know, but I just want to be with my cat and make sure she's okay because we had some real nice firework already, which sounds like a bomb is going off in your house, which is great. So yeah, there we go again. So the next book I want to pick up is Salt to the Sea by Rudolph Sepetys, and I'm going to read this for the challenge to read a friend's recommendation or the recommendation of someone you really like or favorite or something like that, because I think this book made a couple of favorites lists a few years back. I haven't checked out from the library and I really want to get to it, so I'm just making this work for the prompt. Hey guys, so welcome to this wrap-up part at the end of my reading vlog for December. I hope you are still interested in the books that I've read, even though it's last year's news. So let's get into those books quickly. So during December I participated in the Magical Readathon, the Christmas or December round. So I will tell you the challenges again and which books I've read. I did not complete it in the correct order always. That's just not how my reading went because I wasn't reading that much because I was really stressed out because of Christmas obviously, but still I managed to do some of the challenges and I will talk about that in this video part as well. So the first book I finished was on the 3rd of December, and that also finished the first challenge, which was to read a contemporary, and for that I finished The Christmas Party by Karen Swan. This is a book about three sisters who have to keep living after their father dies right before Christmas, and their father is the last knight of Ireland, and the thing is that the title can only go to a male heir, and since there's only sisters it will disappear. Also they have this huge castle that they can't afford, and they kind of have to decide what happens with that, and they all have like very different views from, you know, keeping the castle to selling it and stuff like that, what should happen. So it's kind of a family drama, but it also has romance aspects to it because all of these sisters also find some love. And yeah, it's just a nice Christmassy book. It wasn't too heavy on the Christmas feelings, but definitely a winter read. So I would recommend it, especially in early December. As I read it, it was the perfect timing for that. It starts very dramatic and sad because the father dies, but then it gets a little bit more lighthearted. There's still a ton of nasty stuff happening during this book, but yeah, if you're very sensitive to cheating, I would not recommend this book because there is one character that is cheating on a partner in this. Yeah, that's something I wanted to mention as well. So overall, I decided to give this book 4 stars. But probably more like very strong 3.5 stars, somewhere in between that. I listen to that on audio, and with audiobooks I'm always a little bit more nice in the rating. The next book I finished was on the 13th of December, and it was The Afterlife of Holly Chase, which was a reread for me. It also finished the second challenge, which was to read an urban fantasy or a book where kind of a hidden magical world exists next to the normal world. And this is a retelling of The Christmas Carol. We're following a girl called Holly, and she was the Scrooge, but other than the original Scrooge, she did not change her ways and was killed, and now she's working as the ghost of Christmas past in this huge corporation, but she is a ghost, so that is the magical part. I really like this book. As I said, it was a reread. I gave it 4.5 stars again because it's just such a nice Christmassy story. It's nothing that really changes my life, but it's just such a fun retelling. I really like the characters, I like the romance. It's just overall a book I really enjoy, so yeah, I would highly recommend it. Then on the 22nd of December, I finished My True Love Gave to Me, which is a short story collection edited by Stephanie Perkins, but there's a ton of authors like Holly Black, Gail Forman, Jenny Han, David Levithan, Laini Taylor, Kristen White, Rainbow Rowell, and so on. So this is 12 different stories, and I must say, even though it took me 3 years to read this, I still enjoyed it a whole lot when I did. I started this over so many times, but this year I decided to skip the 2 first stories because I had reread them actually before, and just started with the third one and finally finished this book. And yeah, it was such a fun read. Just really cozy, romancy Christmas stories, and just a variety of perspectives as well. I couldn't even say which one was my favorite. I really liked the one with the Christmas tree, and I really liked pretty much all of them. They were just so different, and I just liked this book a lot, and I didn't even expect it. So I decided to give this book 4 stars as well. On the 23rd of December, I finished 10 Blind Dates, which was again an audiobook, because I didn't really read in December. I just read a ton of audiobooks. So this one also went to a challenge for my Magical Readathon, and this one was a book that was chosen by a book club, because there were just a ton of book clubs who read this book this year. I'm not part of a book club, so it didn't really matter to me, and we're still in the right order. I just wanted to mention that. So 10 Blind Dates is about that girl who gets to spend Christmas with her grandma and her family. She doesn't have to go with her parents to visit her sister, which she thought she would. And when she wants to tell her boyfriend that, because she's really happy she doesn't have to be far away from him, he actually is kind of disappointed because he wanted to see what life is like if she's not around. So kind of like testing what a breakup would be. So she marches out of there, she goes to see her grandparents and stuff, and her grandma decides the best thing for her would be if her whole family chooses blind dates for her to go on between basically when she arrives right before Christmas till New Year's Eve. So she goes on 10 blind dates, and it's all about what happens there. Again, a tiny trigger warning for troubled pregnancy and early birth stuff. But yeah, this was such a cool read as well. I really liked the main character. I feel like she was very relatable as a young teenage girl who thought she'd have a nice time with her boyfriend, but then was very much disappointed. I loved the way the dates played out. I think it was all very fun, fluffy, but also with like her sister and, as I said, the pregnancy stuff. There is also a little bit of a family drama side to it, but this is much more about the romance, I would say. Christmas Party was much more drama, this is much more romance. And yeah, it's just a light, fluffy read that was perfect to read right before Christmas. It really got me into the Christmassy mood. So I gave that one 4 stars as well. Now, on Christmas Day and the day after, I read Nussknacker and Mäusekönig by E.T.A. Hoffmann. This is a German classic that inspired the Nutcracker suite. So, you know, the whole story with the sugar fairy and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the original fairy tale, and it was written in the beginning of the 1900s. I did enjoy this, but I must say that I have listened to, seen, watched so many more adaptations of this that this kind of fell flat a little bit, because this story isn't as rich as some of these adaptations are. It's a very basic fairy tale about this little girl who on Christmas Day she receives a it's a nutcracker, okay. And everyone tells her he's ugly, but she really falls in love with him, and so when at night the evil mouse king, whatever person, comes to attack him, she saves him, but then she has a little bit of trouble with the mice in her house. As I said, I did enjoy this, but I was expecting so much more because it is E.T.A. Hoffmann and I love his writing, and because I know the story so well from all the adaptations. So in the end, I decided to give this 3.5 stars. And I read this book for the challenge to read a book under 125 pages. Then on the 31st of December, the last day of the year, I had one goal, and that was to finish The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, and I did that. This is all about Theo. Theo is a boy who goes to a museum with his mother because he actually has some trouble at school, and it's a very weird circumstance that they end up in this museum because the mother got sick in the cab, and so they went out, but then it was raining, so they went into the museum. But when they were there, they actually started looking at the art and stuff like that, and then something tragic happens and it changes Theo's life forever. This is also closely related to the theme of old furniture, reselling it, and all that kind of stuff. I actually forgot what it's called, and I read this chunk of a book about it. So like antique stealing, that's the word. Is also a huge part of this, but then also drug use and some more problematic things like alcohol, drugs, stuff like that. So this is a chunk of a book. I read this for 1.5 months, and so I was very glad when this was over. I must say, for me personally, what I got from the story wasn't worth the long amount that I spent with it. I just wanted to love it so much more, but in the end I just don't know what it wanted to tell me. And I had recently heard someone call it like a tragedy porn, something like that. So bad things happening over and over to one character without it being resolved in the slightest. And I feel like this is kind of like that. I mean, there is some real tragic stuff, and I loved the beginning a lot. Like, the beginning was so strong, but then it just went downhill because it just kept being bad. And yeah, I guess that's why this one didn't work out for me in the end. I gave it 3.5 stars as well, because I would have given it 4 for the writing style, but since it is so thick and I just don't know what it wanted to tell me, 3.5 is all I could do. And then the last book on this list is Heimlich-Unheimliche Weihnachts- und Wintergeschichten by Barbara Bartos-Höppner. This is a German short story collection. It has, I don't know, I think 11 stories in it, which are all very, very short. It's reminiscent of dark fairy tales and creepy Christmassy stories and stuff like that, winter stories. Some of them are very much inspired by stories that already existed, fairy tales that are around, so I don't know whether some of them are retellings. It's not really clear what the author did, if she's retelling stories, if some of them are her own mind, I don't know. But I enjoyed the stories and I enjoyed this book, and that's the main thing I wanted to say about this. I mean, it is only published in German, so if you don't speak German, you probably can't read this anyway. And in the end, I gave this one 4 stars as well, because I enjoyed it a whole lot. And this one I read for the challenge to read a book that has ghosts in it, because some of the stories involve ghosts. So if you followed this list, you will see that I did not mention every challenge that I had for the Magical Readathon, because I didn't finish it in December. I finished it just now, today actually, on the day I record this, the 10th of January. So the rest of the books will be in my January wrap-up and reading vlog. If you're interested in that, I will have that up somewhere in February. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like or a nice comment. I always appreciate those. Let me know what your favorite reads of December were, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!